Joe Marino on the line here. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
I know that you had words with Andrew, and you're fearful that we're calling you a liar.
No. I'm not fearful. I mean, you directly called me a liar, but first,
I did.
didn't. Yeah, and that's okay. Listen, I understand you got to report on this stuff. I just think it's pretty poor form that political opponents or someone like that would discuss my coaching with my children. You asked me a question yesterday that was I thrown out of Little League? Was I banned from Little League? The answer is no, unequivocally. I touched an umpire, and the umpire association did not take kindly to it. I apologize to everybody.
You didn't touch an umpire. You pushed an umpire.
No, I pulled him
No, you pushed him.
Me to speak.
Joe, you're lying again. You pushed him.
I did nothing. I did no.
Joe,
Bill, I had 200 people there.
I'm looking at the video. You pushed him. Stop lying to us.
Oh, that's crazy, Bill. I mean, look, again, we're talking about my kids.
No, we're talking about your behavior.
No, we're
talking about your credibility here.
Exactly.
Not
right.
your kids.
And to say that, that I went up and shoved the guy.
Joe, this is a classic strategy at deflecting an interviewer, and it's something we're seeing in the national. Listen to me.
I'm not that
Listen to me. It's something we're seeing nationally. I'm not going to let you do it to me here. I'm not talking about your child. Let's get that out of the way. Do not go down that road.
I don't mean that you are. I'm talking about putting a Little League situation in the public.
I'm not talking about a Little League situation. I'm talking about your behavior in this studio yesterday. We talked about this.
Right.
Is pushing the umpire.
Did I sucker punch an umpire? No.
No, I asked you.
We did ask that.
I did.
Yeah. You did ask.
I did.
You said I assaulted. I mean, not you. The story was that I assaulted a man. I don't make a point, Bill, of defending myself.
We
but
never.
In this particular case, since it was my kids, not you talking about my children.
Okay.
But this involves my children. I think it's pretty poor form that people would put that out there like that. Now, you've seen the video. I've seen the same. I was there. I had hundreds of people there looking at me. I directed the guy at my attention in a manner that was not becoming of anyone. I understood that. I'm not saying that I didn't. But to say I walked out like Tommy Lasorda and shoved a guy, I think is a stretch.
Well, you told us you touched him.
I did. And there's no question about it.
Okay, so that is not a lie. You did make contact. You did make contact, but you pushed him. You clearly put your hand, I don't know if your right or left hand. No,
I put my hand on him, no question about it.
You pushed him.
I told you that yesterday.
You pushed him.
But again.
Look at the video. It's on our website right now. Check out the video. Let's wait while you watch the video, and you tell me where you're not pushing the umpire.
I was there, and I spoke to the umpire.
Sometimes we're there, and our minds portray something different. I want you to watch yourself pushing that umpire, and tell me that's touching him. How do you say that to me?
If you'd like to portray me as some bully of an umpire or an assaulter, that's perfectly fine.
I'm not
I just think
saying
it's poor
that.
form to speak about this kind of thing at length.
Joe, no one is saying you assaulted this umpire.
Pushing
not
is
saying
assault, Bill.
Okay.
I mean, pushing is assault. I directed a man's attention towards me. He didn't take kindly to it. I said, "Hey, sir, why won't you listen to me? I just touched your elbow like this." He said, "That's it. You did it again. Game's over."
Okay, and then you pushed him. Look at the video, Joe. Joe, take the moment right now.
I've seen it.
You've seen the video? Have you seen our video?
Yes.
Have you seen our video?
I had to defend myself to the umpire association, so no one would try to take away the kid's
We're being
game.
told that you have been suspended, and the other day you actually were at the game, but you were way down on the left field line. You were not in the dugout.
I'll tell you exactly what happened, Bill. I mean, you can believe it or not, but again, this is incredible. Incredible, but I have no problem telling you exactly what happened because I'm not ashamed of what I did. I went and defended my kids, and all 11 of them, by the way, from a bully. What I did was I spoke to the umpire association.
You're calling the umpire a bully now?
No. I'm calling the situation a bullyish situation. No, I'm not calling I don't know the umpire.
The hole is getting deeper, Joe. The hole is getting deeper. Just for the record.
There is no hole for me, Bill. I'm proud of defending my kids, and I'll do it again.
All right.
I'll do it again 1,000,000 times. But the situation was the umpire association said, Joe, when you touch an umpire, neither intent or not, you're out for a year. I said, that's unfair. because I didn't do anything to hurt this man. I just was trying to get his attention. I told you what I told them.
No one said you hurt him. No one said you hurt him. Besides, the guy's pretty big. I think if you tried to hurt him, I do believe it wouldn't end well. It looks like a pretty big umpire. Joe, this is a question about
me. I just corrected him.
This is a question about your honesty.
I am telling you the story, and if someone could diffuse it for me, by all means. I talked to the Umpire Association. I said in the intro, because what the Umpire Association would have done was not send umpires to the game if they chose to boycott the fact that I was there because I touched an ump. So I told the Umpire Association I will gladly stay away for the rest of this tournament. I have no issue with that because this is about the kids. I don't want it to be about adults. And they said, fine, no problem. The season's almost over. Everybody could be happy. I said, you guys should protect your umpires. There's no issue with that whatsoever. And that was it. Now, the fact that you're calling me a liar, calling in to question my ethics because of my political career, I think that that's a low blow. Now,
I don't at all.
I don't at all.
I think it's fair.
I thought that was a low blow. I don't think it's fair at all. I think that I told you the truth. I was not suspended by literally.
Joe, so let me ask you. I'm sorry, Joe.
Please.
Let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
We were told
all day long now.
I'm sorry. We were told after the show, and then again by someone else this morning, that you were in fact suspended. You weren't coaching the other night, and that you're suspended for another year. Can you address those two things? Did you coach the other night?
After the show, they weren't happy that I went out and spoke about it. But again, I went and spoke about it because I was being accused of assault. And in fact, the word sucker punch was thrown around. Again, my hospital view I don't explain. My U district view I don't explain. I don't defend myself unless I'm asked in a public and professional setting. Never defend myself. But what this was people accusing me of assault, and I thought that was a pretty low, ignorant shot at me. Now, whether it was or wasn't, whatever. But I went on the air to explain exactly what happened. After the show, they weren't happy that I talked about it. Too bad. I'm not going to let people say that I assaulted someone. And I was defending my children, period. End of story. Those kids were crying.
Joe, you weren't defending your children. You were not defending your children.
Oh, I certainly was, and I'll defend that to the hills.
Then that umpire
on the field, and that's my job as a dad and as a coach.
You lost it, Joe.
I lost it at the end when he canceled the game, and I told you that. I said the only time I raised my voice was when he canceled the game on 22 kids.
Okay, so back to the original question that Joe just asked, or that that Manaski asked. Yeah. Were you down the left field line or whatever line? I'm noticing that you're.
I gladly, for the rest of the tournament, stayed off the field. Yes, I was. Okay. I was next to the dugout, so the umpires didn't boycott the game.
So we're conveniently saying that you weren't technically suspended, but you weren't allowed to coach.
No, I wasn't. Look, the Umpire Association cannot suspend me. They can boycott games.
Okay.
If they don't feel comfortable.
So to avoid the boycott, you didn't coach.
Correct.
Well, you didn't tell us that yesterday, Joe.
Okay.
You didn't
even.
It
wasn't a part of the conversation. The part of the conversation was, did I push somebody and was I suspended for a year? The answer was unequivocally no. On both
so that's
occasions.
like me saying to my kids, "Did you take that brownie out of the cookie jar?" Absolutely not. It was a cookie.
No,
that's kind of what you're playing. We're playing with words here. I mean,
I'm not playing with words. I was not suspended.
And when you watch that video, how can you tell us you didn't push him?
So
when I watched the video, I could tell you unequivocally that I asked the guy for his attention. He didn't give it to me, and I pulled him or pushed him to his attention. I can't remember whether I pulled him or pushed him.
That's the first move, the first touch. The second touch is the push.
The second touch was no touch at all. I just explained what I did, and he threw me out.
You got to watch the video. You got to watch the video. You're not remembering what happened.
It was a 30-second exchange, Bill. You're acting as though I jumped this guy in the middle of a baseball field.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm acting as if. Listen to me carefully.
I think it's dirty.
Listen, it's not dirty.
It's dirty. It is dirty.
I'm asking you
this.
It is
dirty. You're asking about my political career because of my ethical situation.
No.
Yeah, you are. I didn't push anyone.
Joe?
Those kids were crying on the field, and I'll do it again. That's my children you're talking
push him
about.
Again.
Not you in particular, but when my kids are on that field, all 11 of them, when they're on that field and they're being, tortured, I went to go complain like a coach would do. That was it. The guy threw me out because he was getting jawed at by moms. Period.
I am the guy threw you out because you made contact with him.
Correct.
Andrew,
but he didn't look at me because he was getting jawed at by. He didn't hear my complaint.
Let me clear something up for you very, very clearly. I am not talking to you today because you pushed an umpire. I am not questioning your ethics or your honesty because you pushed an umpire. I am
You're questioning
not
it because of my answers to you yesterday, and
that
I find that to be offensive.
Is correct. I find it to be offensive that you lied to me yesterday.
I certainly did not.
And furthermore, that is what comes into question of whether or not you are worthy for the office of mayor or councilman in the city of Utica.
And I understand that question.
That is valid for anybody to ask you that question. So stop trying to wait a minute. Stop trying to make it look like I'm coming after you or ambushing or attacking you because of what happened on that Little League field. Had you come in yesterday morning and said, I am ashamed of what happened. I lost my cool. I love my kids. I love every kid on that team. I lost it. And I'm ashamed, and
that's exactly what I said. In other words, I said, "Look, I don't make a habit out of embarrassing myself in front of other people. I didn't do anything to deserve what you're doing, what these people are doing. But it's fine. Again, this is my kids. This is my coaching with my kids. I got 2 jobs. One's a councilman. One's an accountant. The other one is coaching. I take that job very seriously. I would give up the other 2 for the one."
Now, Andrew has a question.
No, so I was just trying to go back to the clarification. So, Joe, you're saying that in the video, the first initial contact was when you tapped him to get his attention.
No. The first initial contact was when I pulled or pushed him to turn him towards me.
Okay, and then
he wasn't looking at me.
And then so what happened was it looked like the umpire may have, returned some kind of contact, or there was a tie-up.
He did nothing. He did no such thing.
Okay.
He seemed to point, you're out.
One bit.
He seemed to point, you're out of the game.
And then so
when
when
me out of the game is the minute I made contact.
And then you came back and pushed him.
Well, so then
then I came back and I said, "Why are you throwing out of the game?" He said, "You pushed me." I said, "I touched you like this." He said, "You did it again."
You got to watch our video. You must have a different video you're watching, because in our video you pushed him. Period. There's no other way.
Who watches it and who doesn't.
You can't say it any other way. You pushed him. You pushed him.
I grabbed his elbow to get his attention, and then I showed him that I only grabbed his elbow the second time, and he said I did it again.
Then people should watch the video. We have you on record saying you didn't push him. People can watch the video.
Look, I'll have people sign affidavits if I would choose to get them embarrassingly involved in this ridiculous issue. It's insane.
It is ridiculous.
It
shouldn't even be something we're talking about. But they don't need an affidavit. They just need to watch the video and decide for themselves if there's a push. And again, I'm not
honestly. I mean, when you're talking about minor league coaching and you try to bring an ethical issue into it, and I lied 0 times on your air. I've never lied on your air in 6 years, not once, ever, including yesterday. And I really find it hard to believe that you would bring up a minor league issue this intensely. But
the minor league issue is not the minor league issues. The minor league issue. See, you can't say this. How could you? You're going off on Little League. Give me a break. I mean, get some real news. No, the real news is you're lying to us.
I'm not going. No.
That's
I'm not going off of. Give me some real news. No, that's not what I said. What I said was you're bringing my personal life onto the air for whatever political motivation you may or may not have, or someone else may or may not have.
Now you're implying that I might have a political motive here?
I'm saying someone has a political motivation.
I'm sure they do.
There's no reason that this should be brought into question as to whether or not I belong in office. And I tell you right now, and I'll tell all your listeners, I would hope you'd vote me out if I get a chance to coach my kids. I will take my kids' career over my political career every day of the week.
Well, I would, as a parent, I would suggest you avoid having another ridiculous display like you had of that game that's on video.
I couldn't agree
because
more, and I'm
that
not
doesn't
proud of
set
it.
a very good example.
Right now. I'm not proud of the whole situation.
For any child.
Believe me when I tell you, I wouldn't like to be talking about this at all.
You told us a little while ago you'd do it all over again. I would hope you wouldn't.
I would do the exact same thing in protecting my kids. I didn't do anything to this gentleman. Mm-hmm. I could tell you that, and I would protect my kids again.
What you did was an embarrassing display of out-of-control temper in front of 200 people and children. Now, you
don't think that that's a stretch?
I think it was an embarrassing display in front of 200 people.
Out-of-control temper?
I think you lost your cool.
Again, and now we got to really look at the video, because I walked to the man gently. I put my hands on him, which is inappropriate. I told every kid on that field, both sides, that was inappropriate. But I wasn't thinking of him as a guy in a blue shirt with an umpire. Right. I was looking at him as an adult. I shouldn't have touched him. He threw me out, and I gladly stayed away from the umpire situation so the kids didn't suffer for it. It was an embarrassing display on all sides. I'm not proud of it, Bill, but I just didn't like hearing that I'm a liar all morning long. I don't think that was fair. And maybe when you listen back, you'll understand it wasn't fair because I did no such thing to push him, man. Because again,
I don't have to listen back.
You got an attorney in your.
I call you a liar again. I'm saying you're at least delusional on this issue.
Well, pushing is assault. If I'm not,
it's not assault. Pushing a guy, I don't believe is assault. I could be wrong.
I absolutely disagree with you. I disagree. Pushing is assault. Punching is assault.
We didn't punch him, and I don't believe you assaulted him. But you misrepresented to us what happened in that video. So that's all I can say. I mean, let the people watch it and make the decision. And again, Joe,
I'm disappointed that this is such a topic, Bill. I really am. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I cannot believe, after 6 years I've come into your studio, I've done everything you've asked me. I've brought my displays of disagreements out for you. Now, because of an issue that in my coaching that was completely blown out of proportion on every angle. Every angle. This is the most asinine issue I've ever dealt with, personally and publicly now. And I can't believe that you would bring this up, in this regard. I really can't. I mean, I know I've got a lot of respect for you. I mean, I'm not saying I've lost all respect for you, not even close. But I'm really disappointed that this is the way that you chose to follow this story through.
And I'm disappointed that you chose to not just say
push an umpire, right? Yeah.
No. Listen. I've been okay, Joe. I've been in very embarrassing situations myself. I certainly it would be the pot calling the kettle black if I were to say, "How dare you do such a thing?"
No.
I've had my own.
I don't think you're saying that, Bill. Again, I don't think you're saying that, and I will say unequivocally, I am not proud of being thrown out of a game in front of my children. No, I would never be proud of that.
Yeah.
I am proud for sticking up for him. I'm not proud of being thrown out of the game. I'm incredibly disappointed that this became a topic of discussion at this length for this amount of time over a non-issue that umpires chose to do. Again, I'm not thrown out of Little League. That's insane. I've done nothing to be thrown out. The Umpire Association was going to boycott the situation for the rest of the kids, and I stepped aside. I think that the whole thing was blown out of proportion. And I think that it has nothing to do with my political view, nor do I think it has to do with my ethics. I lied 0 times on your air in 6 years. But this is the way that you chose to play it. It's too bad.
Well, I'm glad that you've placed the blame on me.
It's not your fault for the issue.
That's awesome.
Take up the topic.
Joe, if you come on the air and you misrepresent something, we're going to call you on it every single time. Period.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I didn't misrepresent anything.
Okay, that will be for people.
It sounds very noble. I get it. It sounds very noble that you're sticking up for the people and you're going to give them what.
No, I'm really, to be honest.
It sounds very noble.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this.
Oh, you're winning now, Joe. You got me.
I'm not trying to win, Bill. I'm trying to say that I shouldn't have to defend myself over my personal life. I shouldn't.
I understand. And yesterday it became public when you said it didn't happen. That's what we're talking about.
You asked me to come on your air.
Okay. All right. Then I apologize for covering this.
You asked me to come on your air and defend myself over sucker punching someone in front of my children.
Mm-hmm. Well, we didn't know the whole story. We'd heard sucker punch. We'd heard you'd been. I mean, we're just reiterating here. We're not going. We're not going anywhere.
If you wanted me to get the rest of the story in and tell you with the conversation that I had with the umpires, I mean, you want to spend 45 hours?
No, I don't.
What I've been spending
my concern was yesterday morning and what you told us, and then we were told differently. That's my only concern. That is it. It's not about the Little League. You lost your cool. Parents do it all the time. It happens. I've done it myself. I'm embarrassed.
But what news value did it bring that the guy canceled the game? What news value did it bring that the guy threw 22 kids off of a field? I didn't think that it was important at the time.
Your credibility and your honesty has come into question. That's the only thing that we're talking about.
And I maintain that I've been 100% honest with your listeners. And
then we're done. Then we're done with this interview.
6 years.
Okay. So I appreciate it. And
yeah, no problem.
Okay. Let me take Mike quickly, and then I'll break. I know I'm way over. Mike in Rome, you're on?
Yeah, just as a neutral individual, I'm actually from Rome, not even Utica.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Joe does sound like he's, obviously backpedaling and lying. I mean, the sucker punch thing was brought up in jest, where I think you said, so you didn't sucker punch the guy. And
correct.
He explained he simply, guided his elbow back as the guy backed up. And when you asked about the suspension, I mean, certainly there would have been more to elaborate on. And he kind of gaffed it off as if, that's ridiculous. There was almost no incident. And you get caught up in these situations. Sometimes it's just best to say, you know what, I lied because, especially with his views on Brooks and the mayor, it, you know, it kind of taints the whole thing.
I just wish that that what would have been said was, you know what, I was wrong. I'm sorry. That's it. That ends everything. What more can you say? Right? I can't keep pushing at that point. But when you continue to say it didn't happen, Mike, right? And what we're seeing, that becomes the story. That's why you can't say, oh, this is just minor league baseball. What are you blowing this all up, Bill? No, that isn't it. It's the hole that's being dug. That's what we're really in the midst of. And you're right, Mike.
If you have political aspirations, I mean, not only your public, but your personal life is called into question, especially when you're not truthful.
Joe, Michael, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll break and we'll come back.